my name is Lauren Shane, and I am currently looking for my first teaching position. I have a true passion for building relationships and want to get to know my students on an academic and personal level. I believe that math teaches you how to be a critical thinker and a problem solver. I want my students to be engaged. One way that I believe that I can do this is by applying real-life examples in mathematics when possible. During my student teaching semester at C.A. Frost Environmental School in downtown Grand Rapids, I was teaching my students quadratic functions. We were working on graphing quadratic functions, and I related the parabola shape to the arc when you shoot a basketball. I also really value my students learning from their mistakes. I want my classroom to be a place that is active, engaging, and safe. I want my students to discuss what they wonder, what they notice, or a method that they used to solve a problem. During my sophomore year, I volunteered in Dale Streeter's room, and I remember that he had a math problem that was related to Reed's Lake. I have heard from Terry Stockton how amazing East Grand Rapids is. I saw how East Grand Rapids is a place of excellence as they have high expectations for their staff and students. East Grand Rapids is small but a very active community. It is also a very welcoming community. And when I have been there, I have seen a lot of people walking, running, and voting. I value knowing people in my community, and I'm also a very active person who likes to run and walk. I went to Okemos High School and know what it takes when there are high standards. I understand what top-notch education looks like and know that East Grand Rapids is top 10 in the state. Some personal characteristics that I have are that I am determined, energetic, and empathetic. For example, during my first few weeks of my teacher assisting at Sayside Middle School in Zeeland, I had a student open up to me about anxiety. She was really struggling to just focus in school, and I was able to help that student succeed academically and also have her cope with anxiety. We met with the student success coordinator for an hour and really just talked about things that she was struggling. I also, at the beginning of each day when I saw her, I would have her rate on a scale from 1 to 10 how she was feeling. And that really gave me an idea of how much I could push her that day. I have a true passion for team teaching as I have worked with special needs students. As a permanent sub, I have been a parapro and took the initiative to volunteer at the inclusion dance. I was also a part of team teaching during my teacher assisting, and I like to make personal connections with my students. But I'm not their, but I am their teacher. I'm not their friend or parent. I am a go-getter, and I'm starting grad school this summer at Michigan State University for curriculum and instruction. One professional characteristic that I have is that I'm always on time and will do whatever it takes to help my students succeed. I appreciate you considering me for this position in East Grand Rapids Public Schools.